How did a wastewater company save $5 million per year in operational costs through condition monitoring? Well, this wastewater company was facing some issues. They had high costs of their preventive maintenance visits. They were doing about 40,000 visits a year to their complete network. So how did they resolve this? Well, they decided to monitor 3,000 of their sewage pumps with ESA. And that resulted in a saving of $5 million per year. And to give you a flavor of what that looked like in practice, I'll show you 3 ways they did this. First off, since preventive visits were such high on their radar, they really wanted to double down on this. What you see here is an overview of the condition of each pumping station in real time. So this overview shows you a couple of things. First off, it highlights where there is an upcoming issue and people should go to site and take action. Maybe even more importantly, it shows you where there is no issue. There are all of these green dots scattered around the map where it would make no sense to send a crew there and take action. So how did this water utility go about building the case for reducing preventive visits? Well, they knew they did 40,000 visits a year. And based on research and experience, case studies at other water utilities, they knew that condition monitoring could potentially slash this by 30 to 60%. They also knew that at the very critical bottlenecks in their network, the larger sites, the bigger stations, they would still want to do preventive maintenance. So taking this into account, they were able to build that business case for themselves. And ultimately, the benefits materialized. So they went from about 40,000 to about 20,000 visits a year, saving a huge amount of cost, but also freeing up capacity and reducing the carbon footprint of all of those trips. Secondly, they prevented catastrophic sewage spills through condition monitoring, and more specifically through clogging detection. Traditionally, they would find out when a sewage pump got clogged simply because the wet well would overflow or the storm drain would activate. And with an ESA-powered condition monitoring system, they now got a warning in advance, like you see here, of upcoming early indicators of clogging. And clogging could look something like this. You see a clear fouling of the impeller with rags, with wet wipes. And by getting these early notifications, this allowed them to send a cleaning crew within a few hours, fix the problem before it resulted in a spill. So how did they take into account these potential benefits when they were considering implementing condition monitoring? Well, they knew the amount of spills they had in a typical year, and they knew the fines and the cleanup costs associated with it. And they also knew that with a system like this, they could expect a high accuracy in predicting and notifying when actual failures would happen. So they took an assumption that 80% of these in their sewage pumping stations, they could prevent. And that is also what materialized ultimately. As a third and last pillar, they were able to slash operational costs. And they did that in 3 ways. First, through adopting predictive maintenance. Secondly, increasing energy efficiency. And thirdly, extending asset life.